Cornwall. So what we're going to do, Tony's going to give you a little bit of an update on some of the education stuff that we've been doing. We're always keen on volunteers, so I'm going to hand over to him in a sec. And then Jordan's joined us as well, and I think a couple of other Software Cornwall guys are in the crowd, so we'll do a bit of a Q&A after that. If that's good with you guys? Yeah? Cool. So, yeah, sorry, that was literally my voice was failing, Tony. So, yeah, I'll let you talk. You're good at talking. Oh, and microphone. Missed that. Right. And introducing the wonderful Tony Edwards.
So by show of hands, how many people here are a member of Software Cornwall as a company? How many people indirectly work with us in one way, shape or form, whether that's coming to events or helping our education program? I think, Dave, you could put your hand up as well. Got a hand up? There you go. I told you I was going to be crowd participation. So my name's Tony Edwards. I work in Education Outreach for Software Cornwall. My focus is on NEETs and trying to engage people who are in danger of falling off of the system, getting them back into education, into college, or directly into work if they are that bedroom warrior coder. I am one half of the Education Outreach team. We have somebody else who focuses on school-age children, and they do an awful lot for the Careers Enterprise Company. And I believe we won an award last week for that program. What was the actual award called?
Careers and Enterprise Company, which is the government kind of funded program that we're under. It was Provider of the Year for the West and Southwest of the UK. So.
Excellent. And we've also got a few other awards. I believe we've got Byron up at the back. You are an award winner as well. What was your award? Most inspirational teacher, I believe. So, yeah, so we got quite a few awards. I am actually the only person on the Education Outreach team without an award, so I think we need to put that right quite soon. Yeah, I don't think a Matchbox car counts. And before I go too much further, I need a favour from you. Can you lock eyes with somebody in the room and come to a silent agreement that you are going to be doing something a little bit later on? So just take 10 seconds, look around the room, lock eyes, come to that commitment. Don't worry, it's not going to be anything scary. If you're by yourself, just kind of look across the room. Has everybody locked eyes with someone? Hands up if you have. Yeah. You think I'm joking, I'm not. There's loads here. So, on a day-to-day basis, on our education outreach program, I interact with the people that you as companies are going to be hiring in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, all the way up to in a decade's time. We've done some pretty amazing things as part of the program since it started, including working with some university students, which we've got here in the room with us. We run one-to-one workshops for NEETs and small groups, because they typically don't like being in a big group of people. We do workshops with college-age students, so we go around to all of the universities and colleges in Cornwall and Plymouth, and introduce them to our rover robots in the hope of getting them to come and mentor in the future. We're running sessions for people who are home learners and are not actually part of the formal education system, so that they can get some technology education with them. And also plenty of school children. So at the moment, it is our Mission to Mars Work Experience Week, where we've taken 30 students of years 10 and 11 and put them through a kind of coding boot camp as a startup team. Now, trying to get a team of introverted coders working together when they don't know each other is really, really difficult. But thankfully, because of the amazing games that we've learned here over the years, we implement them. And we will be coming to those games in a little bit later. So I work with tons of people. We've interacted with loads. But there is occasionally someone who is a little bit different to everybody else. So I work with one person called, we'll call her Natalie to save her identity. Natalie is registered blind. To give you a demonstration of how blind she is, if I could ask you all to put your arm out at arm's length with your thumb up. Now put your thumb over my face. Cheers. It's going well, isn't it? Her entire field of vision is half the size of your thumbnail. That is her world. That's all she gets to see and interact with. Now, we sat her down with some voice recognition technology after spending a little time racking her brains as to what we could do with her. And we ended up sitting her down with the Google system. And thanks to the Pixel earbuds, which she was using, she managed to find out bus times for the first time in her life herself. And at 22 years old, that's far too long for that kind of thing to have happened. And that's the kind of amazing work that our education program is allowing us to do. So you probably know that Cornwall is, or until recently, was the third fastest growing tech cluster in the UK. We're much better than Plymouth, who I believe were 9th. He's not even listening. And Exeter, who was 13th, I think, were definitely better than Exeter, which has recently been rebranded as just East Plymouth, in case you're wondering. Although we are a rapidly growing tech cluster, Cornwall was identified as a black spot for taking children from primary age with an interest into computing up to college, further education, and on into employment within the subject. And that is something that our education program has established to try and counteract. And because of that fact, we've got a whole bunch of funding which has enabled us to work full-time on this. Like I say, there's 2 of us at the moment, but we've just received some more funding, and we're going to have 2 more people embedded within Cornwall College working with the Software Cornwall network of businesses to create an industry-led course. And that's going to be one which you as a community can help contribute to. We're hoping to tweak the education system to be much more applicable to what we do on a day-to-day basis as software developers and kind of the related industries. Some other stuff we do. So careers assemblies. We have, in the last year, given a digital careers assembly to every secondary school age child in Cornwall, bar 1 school who wanted absolutely nothing to do with us for some reason. We are hoping to get into them next year. By this time next year, we will have interacted with every computing student of college age across Cornwall, and we're hoping to do the same for university students moving forward as well. And we're interacting with a lot of people, like I say. We are making a huge, huge difference to these people. So we've worked with people who wanted to do a career in journalism, and after spending a week with us, they've scrapped that and just want to be a programmer. And that person is now on our mission to Mars work experience, going into something else in the future. And we can only do this because of the amazing members we've got who fund us directly and indirectly, our volunteers who turn up to events and help us to actually run them, as well as mentors who work one-to-one on a very casual basis with some of the people we interact with. Now, on the subject of volunteers, I have got 3 questions I want to ask you. If you agree with what I'm saying, just pop your hand up. Don't worry, I'm not going to ask you to shout out or anything. But I do have 3 questions. So the first question, can you put your hands up if you agree that kids are our future? It's cliche, but looks like you all agree with it. Can you put your hands up if you think things like code clubs and our tech jams and work experience weeks make a difference to these people's future prospects and decisions? Almost everyone. I will not shame the room by asking you to put your hand up if you volunteer and help support that ecosystem. But you'll have the answer to that in your head. And if the answer is no, please do volunteer with us, reach out to other colleges and education institutions, because you can make a huge difference, just like we did with Nicole. So do you remember earlier on at the beginning of this, I asked you to lock eyes with somebody? Yeah, that fateful moment has come when we're going to do something. So in a moment, I am going to ask you to stand up, move over to whoever you locked eyes with, and tell them the first thing that comes to mind when I say to you, innovation in digital education. Okay, so you should have something in your head right now. So if I can ask everybody to stand up, please. Find that person that you locked eyes with and just tell them the first thing that comes to mind. So, you should have some ideas. So I'm going to come and see what you think as a community. Does anybody want to put their hand up and bravely be the first person to tell me? If not, I'm just going to pick some. There we go. So if you want to be next up, pop your hand up and Jordan will come find you. So what did you think of with innovation in digital education?
Not enough women.
Not enough women. That is something that we agree on. We're currently working with Women in STEM Plymouth to work on our marketing materials, check that that's okay. But do you have any advice on how we as a community can help encourage more women into the industry?
I think they've got particular ideas of what it's like to be in IT that aren't necessarily right, and we could address those specifically. So.
Can I just say something really random? First year ever, I went to the loo and I had to queue. And it was listening to this conversation. I know it sounds like a really weird thing to say, but like we've obviously got more women at the conference this year because I've never had to queue. So that's really cool. There's about a third of us.
Well, that's definitely a step in the right direction, right?
Yeah. Random facts today.
Over to you, Jordan.
Right, so I found the next victim.
I was just going to say lack of facilities in schools, really. I don't think some of the schools are able to kind of provide the right kind of education needed sometimes. And that's it, really.
Cool, thank you.
Brilliant. So we as an organisation, when we go into a school, we take a whole stack of computers that are Raspberry Pi based and get them working with that. So we identify that problem and we're trying to sort that out. Here we have Paul. What do you think of when I say innovation in digital education?
It makes me think of a number of the programs we've got coming up with Software Cornwall, and we've got some really exciting programs coming, like the Digital Academy coming up over the next 18 months, which will be for 16 to 18-year-olds, and hopefully give them something exciting to start their career.
Thank you very much, Paul. So that
I
course...
found another one.
Go for it, Jordan.
Money, as in not enough money going into the education, and a lot of money could come out of the innovation.
Okay, so how could we address that balance? No idea.
Give more money.
We don't have any money. The money's all been spent. Now, Al, you are part of the Games Academy here at Falmouth University. Have you got any comments on what we're talking about?
Yeah, so we were talking about the user-centered kind of approach, so really listening to what drives children to be engineers and programmers, and then really homing in on that. So the kind of the robotics that you guys are doing, things seems to be well placed. I think that would help with the gender gap as well, because we really need to know what the girls want to be making and what drives them to program. So I think it's just listening to the children and focusing around that.
They are our future. I guess we should listen to them a bit more carefully. Brilliant. Thank you very much for that. The fear I saw in your eyes when I said I was coming out with a microphone. So one thing we do with our education program to try and improve it is run what we do with professional developers. So I told you about our Mission to Mars program. We took that concept and turned it into a team building day and asked professional developers to complete the same set of challenges that the school kids work with. And I'm sorry to all the professional developers in the room, but the school kids actually do a lot better than you do. I don't know whether that's because you're overthinking the problem, trying to get it perfect, whereas school kids just want to get it done. Now, in that vein, one thing we always do to get people talking is play a game of Scrum Frisbee. Now, you must be aware of Scrum Tennis. Yeah? We're at the Agile on the Beach. It's the most popular Agile game. It's sometimes called the ballpoint game. Okay, well, there are four rules to it. So we are going to come out with some frisbees in a minute and ask you to form into teams, but I'll just take you through the rules first. So each frisbee must have air time. I should say, the point of the game is to get a frisbee around a team of people in the quickest time possible with as many iterations as possible. So each frisbee must have airtime. You can't just pass it to the person around you. Each ball must be touched once by every member of the team for it to count as an iteration. Frisbees cannot be passed to your direct neighbour on your left or right. And each ball must return to the same person who introduced it into the system. Now, we're going to split you up into 4 teams and give you 4 frisbees each. And we ran this earlier this week with some school kids, and I think the highest they got was 137 iterations in a 2-minute window. So now you professionals, you're all knee-deep in Agile. They weren't hungover, no. No, they weren't. No, I wasn't. So I need you to self-organise yourself into 4 teams here on the flat element, on the flat bit. So on your feet, self-organise, 4 teams. We're going to give you some swag. We're going to come around, give you some frisbees. So this is one team here. Who wants to be in charge of the frisbees? There you go. So start discussing how you are going to actually do this. Have a test play. See how the frisbees fly. So we're going to have 2 minutes rounds. You've got 5 frisbees for each team. 5 for each team. So from each team, can I get a really quick estimation of how many you think you're going to get on the first iteration? So this team here, 2 minutes. Yep, everybody touches it. 5 iterations. What about this team over here? Byron, what's your estimation for your team? Bear in mind, you taught me this. Okay. 7. What about the team behind? How many do you reckon? 1. Okay, 1. And what about this team here? How many? 457. Have you just taken all of their numbers and put them in a line? Right, so I'll count you down from 3. And once I do, start getting those frisbees around your groups. 3, 2, 1, start. So 3, 2, 1, and stop. Hey. So this team here, how many did we get?
7.
7. And this team, how many did we get?
I've got no idea because they went everywhere and we didn't know which one we even had in the first place.
2 at a guesstimate. Okay. And what about this team here? How many did you get?
20.
20. Ooh, they've set the bar. What about this team? 12? 21. Have we got dyscalculia in this group? Okay, so discuss really, really quickly, 30 seconds. What are you going to do differently for this next round? What are you going to do the same? And what is your estimation? 2, 1, and stop. So, really quickly, how many did this team get?
5.
5. Didn't you get 7 last time? What about this team? How many did we get? 45. Oh. And this team, what did we get?
30.
30. Oh, second place so far. And this team, what did we get?
30-something, 32.
32. That's really, really good. I mean, as Agile professionals, you didn't exactly beat a group of school kids. I don't know, should you be ashamed of yourselves? I don't know. Yes, they are. So the way the kids normally get around it is they all stand in a straight line and pass it straight over the back. Nice bit of lateral thinking there. You can all take your seats. I've got 1 minute left. Thank you very much for indulging us and playing that game. They're for you to keep. Equal Experts donated them. Thank you very much, Equal Experts, if you are here. Is anybody from Equal Experts here? Okay, don't share pictures of those because they got the logo wrong in the branding. Oh, it's a smiley face. Brilliant. Sorry, I nearly had them then. So thank you very much for playing that game. Hopefully it's given you an idea of how we get groups of kids to interact and play with each other, not in a weird way, to code together and form a really good team. Unnecessary. Now, I said earlier on about mentoring and asked you if it was kind of something that you were interested in or volunteering. If you are interested in volunteering and helping shape the next generation of digital gurus across Cornwall, please do reach out to Software Cornwall. If you wanted to donate 1 hour every 6 months, come every Saturday, whatever you want, we can accommodate that. And more importantly, if you are interested in mentoring, and more specifically mentoring university and probably late college age students, Jonathan here is the person to speak to. Can you take to your feet? Show everybody your face. So Jonathan and his team at Plymouth University are currently working with us, Software Cornwall, or rather we're supporting you, I think is a better way. And you're building an app for connecting mentors with mentees. Do you want to tell us just 1 or 2 sentences about that?
Yeah, we're called Industry Buddies, and we're connecting mentors to students. At the moment, we just take a few parameters and match up via an email service, and we're just almost at a minimum viable product as well. I've got some business cards, so if you want to check us out and sign up to be beta testers at the end, that'd be really appreciated. Yeah.
And you'll be pleased to know we are supporting them to make sure they are GDPR compliant. Because you've got to. So that's pretty much all we've got time for, I think. I can see the next speaker lurking in the doorway. Come and set up. We're done. So thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining in. I have been Tony. We have been Software Cornwall. Is there any questions for us while Steve is setting up the next talk?
Did anybody have any questions for Jordan? Because I know she did an ace lightning talk and we've enough time for any. Who's up for volunteering?
It's actually really good fun. Like, I really enjoy it.
You're really good. Like, you were all smiling and laughing there. And that's kind of what it's like when we're mentoring the kids. It kind of is a really good giggle. It's good fun. So, yeah, if you want more of that, then come and join us. Tony and Jordan and the team, they work so hard. And your support is absolutely priceless. So thank you, even if it's the moral variety. Just telling them they're doing a good job goes a long way.
Basically spend a week laughing with a bunch of teenagers. It's great.
And Jordan is evidence that the process works. Jordan joined our Mission to Mars 3 years ago. She is now an apprentice and helping us run Mission to Mars. She held a workshop with all of the students on Tuesday morning. And it's been a very proud moment for Software Cornwall to see you develop and flourish. So can we get a huge round of applause for Jordan, please? It'd be awesome. I think that's all we've got time for. So thank you very much.
Thank you.